Yeah, cause I know you still about me. You don't wanna go back to the future. Take it. I know how. We go to my amigo. I got that dope. That's that girl. I'm gonna forgive me, go. This can roll. Hey, hey. I know this hope. If you know, I gotta keep it close. Come on. Yo,
Yeah,
you FaceTime me?
yeah, like a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. I just now saw the notification.
Okay,
What's up?
nothing.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
wanted to
streaming right
get
now.
yours regardless.
Huh?
Wanted to get yours regardless anyway. Right now.
Alright.
See you later.
Yep. See ya. What? Hmm. Time bag. Oh, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Hmm. I say it would have been better to keep the turret. Because why would you want them to be stuck? You want them to come to. Yeah, it would have been better to keep that. But then. Good. Should be my slave house. Look at him. Look at him. Wow. What? Oof. I don't think I can get another key. Oh my fucking god. kakak boom. I got my nuts hand. Oh my god. Like turning on something. Hold on. I'm gonna blue screen real quick so I can invite someone. Yep. Yes, sir. The one with the crown? You did, but they took that away like yesterday. No, I never bought it because I don't have PS Plus. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just mad because my time difference. The battle pass? Oh, never mind. They still have it then. And die. So I don't have any skins yet, except for the Huntress. No, it doesn't transfer to this for account. Yeah, I already did. I already did. Yeah, I'm playing in a bit. I'm doing something right now. So, why you sound like black? Let me hop in there. How long are you gonna stand for? Realm Royale is not hard. What? Heck's not. Realm Royale is not hard. That shit is on easy mode. I like the way they want. Battle Royale.
Bruh, what's your Deshaun or something? What's your brother's name? Rajon, that's why your brother stink yellow. Oh wait. I said that's why your brother stinks. That's not what I said, O'Neal. I said that's why Mage and Hunter. Yeah, Huntress. No. Too bad. Yeah, but you get revived by a partner, and then you'll get all three back. Oh, fuck no, baby! Oh, no! Let me drink it. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this boss. Alright, I need a heal. Heal. Go YouTube Lite. Oh, Steven! Let's go, Steven. What's up, Steven? You already know how I'm coming 2019. That's my year. Like, sub, everything. You know, donate if you can. Yo, sub that. You're Bro, I didn't even peep. I didn't even peep that was Steven. So I looked at the comment. Nah, he just joined. I think he doesn't own LED. Right on the D-pad. I'm next to you. You hear what I said, O'Neal? I said, I'm next to you. Take the fish to the Barbados. This is where I died last time, so this is the farthest I've ever made it. Chilla. Hurry up. Alright. Hold on. I got. That's when I opened up my menu and it takes me to the blue screen. reasonable price? 10,000 is not a reasonable price. I guess that's because I'm so high up in the... Oh, that's super crazy. Ooh, nice. Oh, those are pretty good. You can craft like potions and shit. Shield and healing. It's a bitch of Barbados. That's because you don't have the shit that makes it so that they craft in 5 seconds. All the characters have the same perk. You just gotta equip it. You get certain perks by leveling up your character. Take the piece of the Barbados. I say so. It used to be 1,500, but they patched it. It used to be 1,500, but they patched it. Yeah, but that's because you could get one shot. You can get 2 shot in full shield, so. I'm happy that I haven't needed to use a health potion yet. I remember this. I get hit once and I'm probably gonna be one shot. I gotta play this smart. Oof. Wow. No, what do you mean? Oh my god. Bro, that turret was not putting in any type work. That's so ass. I had such a good run. I think it was close to the end of the game. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Boy. Why to stay on? What game are you gonna watch? The Raptors. The Bucks. Heck no. Anyways, Antetokounmpo's gonna drop y'all off. GG. Get your 15th loss or 16? Which one is it? Case. Yeah. Oh, he's not injured anymore? Can't they have him just in the bench, and if they do need him, they might as well just put him in? Can't they just keep him in the bench, and then if he's needed, then they can put him in? Well, have him in a bench with his clothes on, like. Exactly. Yes. Nah, you know it's true. He's a reserve. If they really want to rest him, but they still want to win games. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. What are you trying to say? Ass. Damn, eating that bummy school lunch. Bro, remember when? Oh well, you never mind. You weren't there. I forgot. You joined 7th grade. You joined the squad late. Fuck on it. First place in the East up for grabs as Giannis Bucks visit Kawhi Leonard Raptors. Okay, okay. For who? Yo. That's tough. How old is Zion? Like 17? Ooh, shut up. Dirk is not gonna retire. Heck no, Dirk is not retiring. Heck no. He's gonna visit Barbados. What song? That TJ? No, that's Trippie Red. That was Trippie Red. Also, I knew Lil TJ before, and also that was Trippie Red. I'm singing I literally just told you I'm singing a different song. Take a bitch to the Barbados. That's what I said. Oh, why nothing? Oh, why nothing? Suck on your toe, suck on your toe, suck on your toe. This bitch said I got a nice toe. I told you shut the fuck up and suck this toe. Here we go. What was that song even called? You never even told me. The Lil TJ song. It's not, brothers. Oh, why? That is a long time, man. I have to listen to it right now. Lil TJ Brothers. But I already listened to Lil TJ Brothers. Like a baby, baby. Oh, you make me feel some. But I got you make me feel some. But I got you make me feel some. I was gonna you. No, you're not. Shut up. Get the fuck. On you. I got never like Jay-Z. I'll be baby. When I got you, I'll kill some. When I got you, I'll kill some. Are you still playing Realm Royale? No. Man. Heck no. Just watch the game while in the party. Lay down on the floor. I have a bed too. You've been to my house. Shut up. Heck no. Fuck out of here. A rat. I am a rat. A rat. Bro, he's not even online. Oh, heck no. Oof. Alright, you could leave if you want, it's whatever. Who? Oh yeah, I'm not inviting him. I already said no. Alright, I'll see you, O'Neal. Bye, Bat. Bat. Ew, remember Bat? Yes, sir. What's up, Dustin?
Hey, where'd all the other guys go?
They all left. He went to go watch the game just now, and his brother went to go play another game.
What, did you buy Dead Cells?
Yeah.
I don't know
bought
if
it,
you
like-
had gotten it from like a code or something.
A code?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You can buy like games online that are just like a code, and you just put the code into the PlayStation Store and it gives you the game.
I never knew that. I bought it like a week ago, maybe? I don't know. Something like that.
Didn't seem like it'd be your type of game.
What do you mean?
Well, in my opinion, it's basically just a roguelike, except for the game influences you to not give a fuck about the first half of the game.
Why is that?
Because of the way it's balanced. That's why you don't see many people playing it. People still play frickin' The Binding of Isaac. Just because in The Binding of Isaac, you don't just frickin' speedrun through the first 2 to 3 areas of the game. You play the game. Whereas once you start getting good at Dead Cells, there's no point in doing the first 3 levels because the stuff it gets you is not... Like, it doesn't quantify the experience, and it just has more of a likelihood of you having to restart your run after a while.
Hmm.
So a lot of people just run through the first couple levels. By run, I mean they, like, don't fight hardly anything. Or kill anything, they just get the upgrades. Like the little pieces of paper, whatever they're called, I can't remember. They give you the stats.
So
and
wait,
the
they
abilities.
they use like the basic stuff, but they're in like the higher like levels.
Pretty much. Except for, like I
Jeez.
said, they'll stop for a couple pieces of equipment or whatever from the little locked areas that you can find. If you do stuff fast enough, it'll unlock a specific thing or something like that, and you can go into it and get a piece of gear or, like I said, a stat upgrade. And they just get all the upgrades and ignore all the enemies because the enemies don't do fuck all for you. At least not until later in the game.
Well,
Why'd you stop playing God of War?
I already beat it. Except for the side stuff, but I'm almost done with that too.
I was going to get that game, but after seeing so many people like complain about how loud their PS4 gets while playing it, I was just like, no, I don't want to play that game. So,
It was pretty cool.
did you ever properly open up your PS4 yet?
Not all the way, but just the basic stuff. I still can't get into like down there in the heatsink and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, you need a Torx T8 for that. If you want to do it properly anyways.
Ooh, nice.
That's what the screwdriver is for those things. A T8 or T9. I used a T8 for my Pro.
Oh, you opened it up finally?
Oh yeah, I took it completely apart and replaced the thermal paste.
Jeez. I would probably take a good... Well, knowing you, it probably only took like 30 minutes, but...
Took me about an hour and a half.
Never mind. Jesus Christ. I was thinking, yeah, probably an hour, if not more.
Just because I cleaned all the components. If I was just taking it apart and putting it back together, it probably would have only taken 30 to 45 minutes, but when you take apart a PS4 and you separate the heatsink from the motherboard, you have to have new thermal paste for it. You can't just do that and then put it back together and it'll work fine, because when you take that pressure off the motherboard and the heatsink, the paste won't ever go back to the same way again, especially if it's old, because it'll be hard. Because Sony notoriously uses cheap thermal paste in their devices, so it gets hard and chunky after a while. It's fine if you don't open it up, but after like 3 to 4 years, you really should. The thing that sucks about normal PS4s is they have a really shitty clamp for the heatsink.
Isn't it like something you pull back?
No.
Looks like a toothpick or something.
It looks like what you'd see on a weather panel for the symbol of a hurricane. Or like a galaxy. It's got like 2 wings from a center point and it screws on both sides. That one is notoriously bad. The one on the PS4 Pro is an X-clamp. It's a metal leaf spring. It applies the pressure evenly on all 4 sides and gets a lot better seat. Whereas the normal one, a lot of the time what happened is you'll put it all back together and it didn't seat properly, so when you start up your PS4, sometimes it will just like, it'll start up and then turn off. Or it'll start up and then the fan will instantly pick up on high rev and you'll feel air like blowing out the back of it even though it's not playing a game because it's not seated on the APU properly.
APU? What's that?
The APU is the graphics processing unit for the PS4. It's a CPU and a GPU combined into one die.
Oh. The heck? Those exist?
Yeah, they're called APUs, otherwise known as accelerated processing units.
Are they better than like them separated?
Having
or...
them separate? No.
Yeah.
But they're better for if you're trying to make a device, because you don't have to worry about graphic card connectors or anything like that. The problem with a gaming computer being shipped around is half of the time you buy a pre-built computer and the PCI connector for the actual GPU gets bent because of shipping. And it's like, it'll work for a while, but then sometimes you'll just get a computer that just the GPU doesn't work at all. Because the PCI had bent so hard that it scraped off part of the connector on the motherboard. That's why pre-built computers can be a real crapshoot. And why most of the computers that you buy on the market will be they'll be like integrated graphics, so the graphics will be on the motherboard itself and not something that you can connect to it, or if it does, it doesn't have the proper lining on the inside for the motherboard, like the PCI Express connector that is used to connect the GPU to the motherboard. That's what you get when you get a laptop, most of the time. Unless you're buying a gaming laptop, which has like a low-profile, small graphics card in it. You buy a normal laptop, like the laptop I use, and it's all integrated graphics. Basically the same thing as an APU. They'll have a little, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like a capacitor. The normal PS4 has 2 capacitors for the GPU portion of the APU, and then it has 1 for the CPU portion. That's on a normal PS4. The PS4 Pro has 6, and 5 of them are used for the GPU, and 1's used for CPU. But the CPU portion of the APU in a PS4 Pro is slightly overclocked. So even though it's the same amount, it's actually faster. Whereas the GPU is a lot stronger on a PS4 Pro, so it needs more of those things to make it run correctly.
Oh, you're confusing me. I thought the APU was a CPU and GPU combined.
It is, but the parts on an APU have to be separated. So like an APU is a single unit, but a portion of it is divided into the different things.
Oh, yeah, okay.
A part of it is used as the CPU, and then the bulk of it is used for the GPU. And they'll have a separate capacitor for each of those partitions of that chip. The normal PS4 has 3, whereas a PS4 Pro has 6. And the PS4 Pro also has GDDR5 memory, whereas a normal PS4 is GDDR4, which is graphic memory. That's graphic RAM.
What does that do?
That's what does all the graphic bandwidth and everything like that, like for rendering and stuff like that.
Okay.
Stores all the memory for it, what kind of textures they are and shit like that. That's why the PS4 Pro can display at higher resolutions. More RAM to store that kind of stuff in for when it needs to be loaded by the actual GPU portion. Because the processing unit itself is only used when something new needs to be rendered or put on the screen. That's why games like God of War tax the fuck out of PS4s, because it's constantly asking for the information to be processed, whereas some other games that are not as intensive just store all of it and just use it as needed, like Borderlands. Why Borderlands doesn't run that hot on any console.
Oh, you
fan started?
bingus! Sorry.
Has your fan started acting up at all again?
No. It's a lot better now. Oh. Oh, nice. Let you break your. Oh, let's go. Tough. Very nice.
Have you made it through a full run of that game yet?
Nope. I've done like 37 runs and I still haven't beat it. I've only fought 2 bosses so far, so I don't know how many there are.
I wouldn't know either. I can't remember. It's been too long. Ow.
Yeah, that sounded disgusting. Well, not disgusting, but that sounded like it hurt.
Yeah, I've been getting stuff like that randomly ever since my incident.
Wow. I knew it. Fuck you, bitch. Nice.
You ever play World of Tanks?
World of
I'm sorry.
Pings?
World of Tanks.
Oh, no. Why?
Just asking.
I know you have, but I don't know. Seems boring.
Well, I was going to stream in like 30 minutes.
World of Tanks?
No, I was going to stream Monster Hunter World. I was just asking that because I didn't know if you had it on your PS4 or not. It's a free game, so.
Why? Did something happen with that game?
No. No, I've just been playing it recently.
Huh.
Played
Like
it
you
a
said-
little bit. They still have the audio glitch from it, though. Just fucking annoying. Figured they'd have that fixed by now.
Other than like fighting tanks, what do you do?
Well, currently there's an event that you fight mechs.
World of Mechs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. I was like, what the fuck? What? Like, when I saw it, I was like my brain couldn't even process it because the camera isn't even adjusted for the mechs on the load-in screen. So it's like you just see the legs.
And then it pans up.
Well, when you're actually controlling it, yeah, the camera's up to the chest, but when you're at the like select a tank screen where you do all of your tank management and stuff like that, like when you hover over one of the mechs, it like drops down from the sky and lands, and you only get to see the legs and the arms hanging down a little bit. There's only 2 mechs because it's a limited time thing, and I'm like, why do they put all of this? There's so much shit in the game that is in the game that you can't access or get anymore or play. Like there's so many maps and stuff like that. Like they made a winter themed map and a Halloween themed map, and they've done that for several years, and like they don't reuse the same map twice, but they don't take it out of the game files, so the game is like 61 gigs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Granted, there are a lot of maps in the game that you can play, though. There's like over 20 or 25 or something maps just in like the first couple game modes, and that's if you're not counting like the fact they added single player, which has its unique maps, single player co-op type stuff, and then they added ranked is separate from multiplayer, so ranked has its own subset of maps that it will play through. It's not a bad game, it just takes forever to grind up tank trees, so if you did start playing it, you'd be playing it pretty much non-stop to get anywhere. Like, to get a tier 10 tank probably takes like 300 plus hours of gameplay.
Wow.
And that's if you're focusing on that one tank every single time it's ready. Because if you die in a battle, it's not like a deathmatch style. So you'll start a match with a tank, you die, and that's it for your tank until everyone else dies or they do the objective.
Wow.
So what you can do is you can load back to the garage and select a different tank while you're waiting for that one to finish its mission. But like I said, there's still audio glitches on the PS4 version that they haven't fixed since it basically came out. Like, for example, if a tank dies at the same moment they go invisible, it'll make your game play back weird buzzing noises every single time you do stuff. Or if there's a certain glitch in the game that everyone is having now where it causes a loud buzzing noise whenever you start a match. Like, you'll start a match and when your gun loads, it'll go like bzzzt. It scares me every time I play the game. Like, I jump a little bit in my seat. Because I think it's like my sound, but then I'm like, no, I have to like calm my heart rate down because every time it makes me like fucking instantly go into fight or flight mode. And you have to be like, it's just the game. It's not a bad game, though. It's a lot different on console than it is on PC, though. And like most people say, the PC has the better version, and it does. It normally always does, but in this case, the PC version is so much better. One of the things I can't understand that they don't have out of numerous other things that are different. One of the things that annoys me is if you played the PC version of the game, you can change your crosshair. So like the crosshair on the screen looks different. So it will be like an arrow, like a up-facing V to the center of the screen. You can get like a circle within a circle within a circle. Then you can get one that's like the circle with the triangle. And then there's one where it's like a little, almost like a square sort of, but it's wide. And there's a couple other different crosshair ones that you could get on PC, especially through mods that used to be compatible, but now modding isn't really a thing, in terms of UI anyways, as far as I know. I remember back when I used to play that game and I used to go into the game files to change the graphics options because some of the graphics options were not labeled in the game. And one of them made it so the terrain was more blocky than normal. Like, it put hard edges around things that were more turned. So sometimes the tank would be exposed behind terrain on your screen, even though they weren't behind terrain, and you could still shoot them.
Wow.
So it just looked really weird, because I would turn all the graphics options down to 1, which the sliders in the game at the time when I was doing that only let you put it down to a 2. So you could open up the INI file for the graphics options, and you could just change all that stuff manually and turn it way, way down. Turn off most of the grass and bushes except for the ones that induce stealth. So people used to consider it an advantage in a way. Because there's not a real clear, like, distinction in the game when you first start playing it between, like, oh, this is a bush that causes stealth or reduces your presence on the map, but this bush isn't, sort of thing. They just sort of tell you about the stealth mechanics a little bit in the tutorial, and that's it. So basically, in World of Tanks, no tank is visible to another tank from across the map. Even if they're out in the wide open, if you're more than the distance of your radar detector thing that spots other enemies, and that varies depending upon the tank, then that means you will not be able to see them. Once they come within range and they're open or visible to other people on the team, then their tank will appear and they'll be actually shootable. So bushes increase this effect to the point where certain tanks have such good what's called concealment. They can sit behind a bush and someone could be like 50 to 60 meters in front of them and they could see that person, but the other person couldn't see them. Like, you'd be completely invisible. You could be hit by blind fire, but the person would have to blind fire into the correct spot to do that. Its mechanics functions a little weird, but that's also because the game has like an auto-aim mode.
Auto-aim.
You can press the R1 button, and if a tank is exposed over your crosshair, it will make your cannon automatically line up on them.
And you'll hit your shot every time?
Well, not every time, because I mean, it's not 100% tracking, it just stands on them. It just sticks on the enemy. But if the enemy's moving sidewards and your crosshair sticks on them, you have delay in how fast your turret can turn and delay in your bullet. Like, the bullets aren't instant, they have travel time. They have travel time and deflection. So a tank that has thicker armor that's angled, the bullets will just bounce off of them, and you'll need a bullet with a higher penetration to be able to hit that tank. So certain tanks will have an advantage in certain positions over others. If you're in a big square box, and it's not like the thickest armor on the planet, if someone T-bones a bullet into you from the side at a 90-degree angle, that bullet's almost always going to penetrate. Versus if someone's looking straight at you and they turn their tank a little bit to the side so that all the armor's like angled as you're trying to be shot at, then you have a much higher chance of the bullet just bouncing off the surface of the armor. And this can get very broken in certain situations, especially early on in the game, less towards the end of the game because all the penetration levels of the bullets get pretty much near the same. But early on in the game, you have tanks that have a vast difference in armor over others, and some of them are just like an iron wall to the early tanks in the game. So if you get lucky when you select your tank into a match, you'll get put into a match where you're on the higher tiers and the enemies are on a lower tier. Say you're in a tier 4 tank. A tier 4 tank can queue up to tier 7, but it can also queue with 2 tiers down of itself. So a tier 4 Matilda can be put up against tier 2 tanks, which basically only have a couple hundred health and can be shot down instantly by the Matilda's fast-loading gun. But subsequently, you could also get put into the match in a Matilda, whereby you're just a slow-moving medium tank that has a couple hits worth of health, because if a tier 7 hits you in the Matilda, you die in 2 hits, because your armor's jack shit. But towards a tier 2, where their bullet penetration barely gets above 40 to 60, and the entire front portion of the Matilda is 80mm plus, you basically, every bullet just bounces off of you as if you're an iron wall. And that can happen in many different tiers with different tanks. And again, that's a medium tank. That's not even a heavy tank. The Matilda is. It's a slow-moving medium tank with really heavy armor. Whereas you have stuff like the AT-2 for the British. The AT-2 British tank destroyer was actually an assault heavy vehicle, so it was supposed to be a heavy tank used for assaults. It wasn't actually a tank destroyer, but it's considered a tank destroyer in the game because it doesn't have a moving turret. The turret is locked on the front of it, and it can only turn a very little bit to the side, like a cone in front of the tank. It can't turn fully around and then shoot stuff. And then you have artillery, which is the game's completely other mechanic shooting thing. So in an artillery tank, when you press the zoom in, you get a top-down view. And this is why one of the reasons why, yes, you're basically looking from the air down at the map. And you can zoom in right on top of people, but you have a bullet arc. So if there's mountains or buildings in the way, it doesn't mean you can hit the person that you can see, and you can't see people yourself. You have to rely upon the light, mediums, and heavies out in the front area to detect people that are in an open line of sight of your artillery. And then you're basically lobbing shots all the way from the back portion of the map or behind everyone else over a cliff or over the side of something to get to a person and hit them directly from the top, which the top normally doesn't have very good armor on a tank. So artilleries do lots of damage normally, depending on the artillery early on. But late game, artilleries are like, you get hit by that and there goes 1/3 of your HP. If not half or more. Even in a heavy tank. So. Because armor becomes less needed later on in the games, because you get more HP in your tanks. So like a medium tank at tier 4, like I was talking about earlier, Matilda has like 360 HP. A heavy tank that's 2 tiers higher in tier 5 will have around 800. A tier 7 will have like 1,000 or around that. A tier 10 will have like 1,800 to 2,000 in some cases. Like the mouse. Or however you're supposed to say it. It's basically just a big, heavy box, is what it looks like. And it has super thick armor and a big, slowly rotating gun on the top of it. It's in War Thunder as well.
War Thunder? Is that the one with the planes?
Yes, that's the one with planes and tanks.
Oh. Is that one not that good?
I personally don't like it just because of the controls. It takes a lot to get used to the controls and the nuances of actually killing another vehicle, because the critical crew damage is more important in that game than in this game. This game's just like, tank has HP, you get hit by enough penetrating bullets, you die. And War Thunder, if you shoot a part of the tank where no one is, you're not going to kill the tank. You're just going to hurt the tank's actual tankness of it. You need to hit a bullet into the side where the crew is and kill part of the crew. They even have like a cool kill cam when you do it, because it'll show the bullet going in through the side of the tank and then the bullet like blowing up into shrapnel, and then the shrapnel like hitting one of the guys in the head or something like that. It's pretty cool. But I don't like it that much just because of the controls, and controls for me are like a huge deal breaker. I don't know, I might play some World of Tanks. You can come by and see what it's like if you were curious. It'll be a lot of me losing in matches though. Just be forewarned.
Did you just, well, you played it before, but did you just now play it on PS4 for the first time?
No, I started playing it like a half a year ago on PS4, but then I got rid of it for a while.
Oh.
And just didn't play it, so I still have an account, so it's not going to be like a fresh start. I'll have tanks and stuff, but I never got very far. I only got up to like tier 4 is my highest tank.
Oh.
On PC, I had a tier 10.
Jeez. Wait, so tier 10 is the high? I thought tier 8 was the highest.
Nope.
So, which one's the highest then?
Tier 10.
Oh. They haven't increased the cap?
No, because it's based off of real tanks. They're not made up tanks.
Oh.
The tier 10s are what were like the best tanks for their time, quote unquote. I haven't been streaming much recently.
Oh. How come?
Well, initially, like a week ago when I started not doing that, I was waiting to get the stuff to redo my PS4.
Oh.
Yeah. But recently I've been playing Monster Hunter World with Kyle, so...
Oh, he got it again?
Yeah. And he's been interested in it. So I've been helping him and trying to teach him nuances, and he just happened to choose the worst frickin' weapon to start out with in the game. So if you were playing a new game that you weren't familiar with, and you, for some reason you didn't know Monster Hunter, what weapon do you think he picked?
The hammer, because it looks cool.
No.
The switchblade? Is it the one that
Which
Henry
one?
used?
Yes. The
Oh
charge blade.
no, the charge blade, there you go.
And then they, just like Henry, motherfucker runs up to a monster in axe mode and just mashes triangle and launches people. On accident, of course, just because he doesn't know how to use any of the other stuff, and it probably took me at least 30 to 40 hunts to get him to understand the... use a weapon, use the sword mode to use the axe mode better, is basically what I kept trying to say to him. And then, like, I had to try to explain to him how to charge his shield, and then I had to try to explain to him on how to charge his sword once the shield is charged. And then teach him how to do the combos to do the super amped. And then, like, just like Henry, he assumes that's the only combo to do it, either. Because it's like way harder to explain to someone like, yeah, if you press a button after any other, or if you press a button, you can press another button after that button with pressing the same button again after that button, which then allows you to do that. It's like no matter how low you try to go, it never explains it properly. Because I'll try to do this. I'll say like, in order to charge your files, to put the files once the sword is glowing red, I'll tell them you have to press R2 and circle to put the files in together.
And they press R2, let go of R2, then press circle.
Well, no, they'll do that animation, but then what they'll do is like I'll explain to them how to do the cancel to charge the shield. And I'll be like, so when you press the charge files button, do an attack and then press circle triangle, and then R2 again. And like almost every single person I've tried to teach it, they walk up to the monster, they do the circle, they just like, you can hear it on their fucking controller, where they just go to try and get it to do something, and it's just like, it's like, I understand you're trying, but when you're mashing, you're not listening to me. And I'm just like, fucking come on, dude. I'm like, do it as I say it, because I'm saying it in the timing. You do triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle. Just like that. Just think it like that, and you'll be able to do it. But then, again, they get into the thing where they think that's the only way that they can do it. And then I'll be like, no, if you're doing an attack, you can follow it up with that combo, any attack. And so I'll have to be like when you do the charged circle attack where you slash twice, and I'll be like, you can just press circle triangle and circle triangle after that to immediately go into it, or any other input. And then you just see them, like, their brain just starts to go like the fucking wires start disconnecting. And like they only do that. They don't do anything. They just only do that. And I'm like, because then they're spending all of their time in axe mode or just doing that attack. And I'm like, you gotta have files. That's the point. I told him, like, if you want to use an axe, just use the greatsword and use one of the skins that turn it into an axe. Because that's basically what you're using the fucking charge blade like. And I'm like, the fucking charge blade is slower than the fucking greatsword. The overhead animation where it sends all the files out in a row, that shit fucking takes forever. That shit takes like 3 or 4 seconds for the entire animation to play out. Because you can't do the animation without doing another animation before it. You can't just, when standing still, unless you're in axe mode, do super aim. And in order to get into axe mode, you have to do the attack where it swaps you into axe mode. So it's like, no matter what you do, you have a prerequisite to doing that attack. So, not only is the attack itself slow, but the animations coming up to it are also like 1.5 seconds themselves. So doing triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, that's like a right to left slash, shield like shunt, as I call it, because your character sort of just like pushes the shield outwards and it does a little bit of damage. And then after that, your character combines the sword into the axe head on the second circle triangle, and then swings it to the left, so it does like a baby damage doing slash, and then like stretches his entire body out onto the ground while doing the frickin' overhead slam. And then your character has to then pick up the weapon, separate it into 2 sections, and then put it back on their back, and that's the animation complete. And you can't roll out of any point in that animation. So you're basically just standing there being like, please hit me, to the monster. It's so... And I don't know why new players to the franchise always do that to themselves. And I'll try and tell them, like, just use a different weapon. Like, and it's like, because they just love the idea of having the shield, but then it's like, dude, you're not even using the shield. I see you rolling every 5 seconds. It's like, just use a weapon where you're gonna roll already. And I'll try and tell them, use like the sword and shield or something like that, but they consider that too, like, boring or basic. They want to use the unique Monster Hunter weapons. And it's like, cool, but you gotta be dedicated to using those things. You can't just like... They're not a weapon that you can just pick up and use, and it will be good. Mashing triangle in axe mode, yeah, it does decent damage, but you might as well be using the switch axe, because then if you're mashing triangle, it's still gonna be more impressive looking. With fucking with the charge blade in your mashing triangle, it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, because the weapon's not meant to be used like that. The axe mode is for throwing out files. They only give you the normal attacks to make it feel like a more complete experience in between the two forms. But if you watch any of the people who do like speed kills, like I tell everyone, like just go watch a speed killer using your weapon and you'll see how wrong you're using it, sort of thing. But then I try to tell them, you don't have to use it like a speed killer, but when the speed killer isn't using half of the animations that you're using, it's probably safe to say that they're not very good. And again, I don't like saying that speed kills matter, but when people are, one of the people's main complaints about Monster Hunter is how long it takes to fight a monster, because all they want to do is sit there and go triangle, 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 triangle. It's like, you're the problem.
Jesus. That was a tongue twister.
Triangle, 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 triangle.
Yes. Sounds like an alien.
Triangle. I am from Triangle Prime.
Nice.
Sounds like a Rick and Morty joke. It's like one of those guys that are like, "Obble, obble, obble."
Nice.
Obble, obble, obble.
What was that?
I wonder if Rick and Morty is going to be another show that has Kid Rock playing as Kid Rock in it.
Kid Rock playing as Kid... Who's Kid Rock?
You never heard? Oh yeah, you're young, so. He was like a rock, rap, country artist.
What the heck? How? How would that even work? I mean, I guess it could work, but you'd have to switch up so much. Was he good at, anything? Dustin.
I'm trying to look up a song from him.
Oh. Country, rock, and rap.
Kid Rock's music has encompassed rock, hip-hop, and country. Yep.
Fuck, dude, that dude just. Holy cow. He took me from full HP to like nothingness. That's crazy. That's so doo doo.
Hold on, I gotta listen to this just to make sure. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh my god. Kid Rock's music. It is literally exactly as described.
What?
If you want to if you want a song that'll give you a good idea of where he gets those three nomenclatures from, look up Kid Rock, I'm a Dog.
Is dog spelled D-A-W-G?
No, D-O-G.
So Kid
He's
Rock,
country, so.
I'm a dog. I'm a dog, I'm a pimp. I am the bull god. Alright, I'm gonna mute my mic. Alright, I'm ending my stream here. Bye.